get a foul call to save their lives. I personally think it's because they're kvetching after every single possible thing, and maybe it's overkill. But at the same time, like, if they could get if there's a game where they do get a couple of calls, who knows, right? I mean, so anyway, it's the Pacers, to me, they might win tomorrow night, and that's the end of it. This is the one where they'll look back if they don't win this series and go, we might have lost that game. We might have lost game 5 because again, the Knicks are right there. Is the point of my little soliloquy. But I really wish we'd come out with a little bit better of an effort and not sort of counting our chickens.
I think this series has been interesting because game 1, like you said, probably should have gone the Knicks' way. We know that. Well, just watching that one, the crazy comeback that they made. So you can make the argument the Knicks should be up 3-2 in this series. And then I think if you're Indiana, you're looking at last night's effort. You're not happy with it. But game 3 was one that they should have won. They were outscored in the fourth quarter by 16 points, outscored 36-20 in the fourth quarter for the New York Knicks to win that one by 6, 106-100. Like, you got to feel like you should have won game 3. You at least feel like you should have had a better effort in game 5. Maybe you don't win it, but you should have had a better effort. So I think the interesting part about this series is maybe it goes 7, but either way, however it goes, even if it's finished in 6 and Indiana wins it, the Knicks could be kicking themselves for losing game 1. If the Pacers don't go on to win this series, they're going to be kicking themselves about game 3, about their effort in game 5, obviously whatever's going to happen in game 6. So I think this series is really interesting, and it's good, honestly, because the hockey playoffs, now we know the Stanley Cup final. Both of those series finished in 5. You had the Thunder series finish in 5 as well. So at least now we still have one conference final that didn't finish in 5 games.
So now, if this thing goes 7 somehow, or, the longer it goes, now there's kind of that rest versus rust thing with OKC that, does that negate things or change things? Because again, this isn't a group that's been here before in terms of experience, but they're the better team. That's whoever they end up playing in these finals.
Yeah, no question.
But still, I mean, maybe that's an equalizer. Maybe that's something that kind of changes the way that series goes. But anyway, I'm grateful for the fact that it's going beyond 5 games, kind of to your point. So the Nats won last night. I actually couldn't stay up anymore after midnight. As Jorge Lopez blew that lead, and it just was, if I'm Mackenzie Gore, I'm just sitting there so pissed off, so irritated that I threw a gem, 6 innings, shutout ball. I think he had 8 or 9 punches in the game. He was fantastic, got himself out of his own self-made trouble. He was great. But the thing I want to talk about isn't necessarily beating the Seattle Mariners, although it was nice to win 2 out of 3. It's James bleeping Wood. I don't think... Now, Grant does this running bit where he's like, people are sleeping on James Wood, and all the beat writers are like a little bit confused by it, and if not slightly put off by it, but I think it's a quality bit. But there is something to that here, Tobes. I don't know if we truly realize what's happening here. James Wood has an OPS of 904 and is hitting 282 against lefties.
That's incredible.
This is not major league veteran of 10 years who's seen now quality lefty after quality lefty after quality lefty come trotting in to match up with him, who's now finally starting to make some tweaks and adjustments. This is 22-year-old kid who can't run a car without getting the extra insurance penalty, who is making those kinds of real-time approach-related adjustments. I think, listen, a nasty lefty will get him from now and again. That happens to everybody, right? Same way a nasty righty would get Aaron Judge. But for a guy overall, and then his numbers against righties are patently absurd, quite frankly. What's happening right now with his 15 home runs, 9 steals, walked into third base last night because they weren't paying attention to him, got a great jump, put the pedal to the metal, and again, stole the bag easily. What he's doing on a semi-nightly basis, I'm not really sure everybody quite understands how remarkable this is.
He's so good. It's unbelievable to watch this guy. To your point, against lefties last night, in the top of the 6th inning, it's a tie ball game, runners on first and second, understanding the situation. The Mariners go to the pen, taking out Emerson Hancock, the righty, to bring in Gabe Spire, the lefty. And what does James Wood do? First pitch, double down the left field line, drives in 2 runs, Nats up 2-0. Just his ability to go to all fields. And he's kind of an anomaly, Danny. You understand this as someone that's played. Like, he's someone that generally, if you have a compact swing, you can't hit for the power that he does. But his size, Judge has this too, to an extent, right?
Yeah.
A compact swing where because of your size, you can still hit for prodigious power. That's what he has. So, it's not like he's slump proof. Like I think people have said that and different things. I don't think he's slump proof or anything, but he's someone that can overcome a lot of things because he's just got a short, compact swing, can barrel it to left field. Obviously, he's a lefty going the other way. We've seen that. He can turn on the ball and pull it, which we're seeing more this year. I mean, honestly, he's one of the best hitters in baseball. It's not just, you can take out the young thing, right? Like he's not one of the just best young hitters in baseball. He's one of the best hitters in baseball. Codify put out something today saying that James Wood's the only player in MLB history to have a 380 plus on base percentage with 15 homers and 9 steals in his team's first 56 games before turning 23. Only player ever to do that. I mean, when you're talking about what he's doing, we're talking one of only a handful or one of the only people to ever do this. He's so special. So special.
In the National League right now, there are a handful of candidates through the first, and this doesn't matter all that much, but roughly first third of the season, who are, you would say, MVP candidates. Kyle Tucker's doing ridiculous things, double-digit homers, 15 steals. His teammate, actually, Pete Crow Armstrong, out of nowhere, we're going to see the Cubs here pretty soon, the Nationals are, is having, quite frankly, one of the most remarkable seasons you're going to remember. Yeah. I don't expect that to continue to that degree, right? Really, nice piece, super fast, good player, but everyone's like, okay, come on. He's going to come back down to earth at some point. And if he doesn't, give him the MVP award. But in the American League, it's Judge, and you go down the list of some, Cal Raleigh, the guy that we just saw, has been fantastic. But in the National League, Shohei, Kyle Tucker, James Wood. These are right now the MVP candidates as far as I'm concerned. At 22 years old, I don't think he wins it because, again, Shohei, the presence he has in that lineup is so good. He's got more protection than anybody you could ever imagine. But what's happening is that level. That's the conversation you are now in for James Wood. And he's finding his way as a left fielder, had kind of a kick last night, moving to his left, the ball that he should have fielded cleanly. He didn't. Ball not get stuck in his glove, ends up, granting a base runner an extra base. So those things are, I think, in progress. But offensively, he's so unbelievably advanced for his age and experience level. And remember, it's not that long ago. He was a toolsy guy in the Padres organization with a swing and miss problem, right? Like the scouting report read almost the same for Elijah Green and James Wood, right? Big, toolsy, athletic, strong, fast, swings and miss a little too much. We'll see. One is down at rookie ball, having Jason Worth fly down in between horse races to work some front toss with him. And the other is an MVP candidate here in Washington at 22 years old. This is kind of a James Wood hype up segment here. But I guess my question is, well, not even a question, my observation. And some Nats fans can call me names and tell me I'm wrong. But here's what I think happened. When they started 1-6, getting smacked around in the first 7 games of the season, really, I think a lot of people kind of checked out. Since then, they've basically been a 500 club. And since then, there have been a lot of things that have happened that are really damn good.
Yes.
Most specifically, James Wood, but CJ Abrams is kind of the 1A there. Luis Garcia, guy that I always kind of beat the drum for, starting to come out of it. He's hitting a bunch of bad luck. Bummed about Dylan Cruz, who was starting to do the same thing as well. But James Wood is so unbelievably special that I don't quite think Nats fans have really woken up to it. I think the folks that are there on a Tuesday night when it's 58 degrees and kind of dreary, I think the folks that are there already coming to the games kind of get it and realize what's happening is so unbelievably special. This is Soto level. This is Bryce Harper winning the MVP here level when no one else hit 20 home runs in the lineup. Like, this is so extraordinary what he's doing that maybe it's our fault too. We're not spending enough time, banging on this drum. But my God, like every day there's something else where you go, you shouldn't be able to do that. And yet here we are.
Yeah, I mean, this is a guy that's on pace for 40 plus homers, 120 RBIs. Someone that's only going to get better, by the way, Danny. Like someone that's going to show improvements, because I still think there's stuff that he can improve on. Like I think that stuff that you can see that he can improve on. Yet he's hitting almost 290 and one of the best hitters in the National League, like you were already laying out. And I don't know that we need to dive into this today, but we were kind of discussing this the other day just through text. Like you look at young players in this game right now, how many would you take over James Wood? And I think the list is 1 or 2. I think a Bobby Witt Jr., just because of how good he can play at shortstop, can be in that discussion and his impact at the plate. And if you want to consider a pitcher, maybe you go Paul Skeens. but generally you're going to take the position player. So you probably would say you'd take Wood over Skeens. And I think Bobby Witt's the only guy then ahead of it because Gunnar Henderson, solid defender, not great, good hitter. I would take James Wood's bat. I would take I think Gunnar overall is a better defender than James, but not by a ton. But I just think that's the kind of stuff we're talking about here. Like you see these articles all the time written. Like we saw this year now with the Commanders, right?
Mm-hmm.
Where they're like, if you could start a team with one guy, who would it be? And everybody's like, Jaden Daniels. And that shows you how good he is, right? I think that's where James Wood is. I really do. And everybody that could tell us down in spring training was telling us how good this guy was going to be. They're telling us how hard he works, how much he grinds, how impressive an individual he is. And they're telling us